You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
So I've been trying to teach myself about the metaverse and real estate in the metaverse. Crypto, being the underlying thing there, and the whole crypto market and real estate within a digital world, that whole Second Life thing going sideways. I have that in my head, kind of a virtual world that didn't ever really take off. And now people are paying $600,000 to have a digital plot in a created world close to, who was it? Snoop Dogg, I think it was. Snoop Dogg has a site within the metaverse. Just all this stuff. And somebody sent me, and I know who it was, but somebody sent me an email that was like, hey, if you can make up 70 different genders, then why wouldn't you have $1 million real estate in the metaverse? I mean, you're just making stuff up left and right. So my whole thing as an appraiser, my background as an appraiser, is you've got to have support for your value. You've got to be on paper. You've got to have support and be able to prove that the house is worth what a buyer's paying for it. Because that lender is going to jump down your throat as an appraiser. If you were off and they lent all this money and this borrower defaults and they got to sell the house and they're not even close to getting their equity back. So I've got to have, defense of my opinion of value within a report. How about this? Sneaker collection sells for record-breaking $25 million. So my point being, before I jump into the intro here, well, this is the intro. Does anything have a supported value anymore? Is there logic to our values? Like, well, this plot as you walk through with your VR set, and this plot as you look on your computer screen is, it's a half block down from Snoop Dogg, and he's going to have this and he's going to have that. And the Louis Vuitton store is over there. And, we've got this, Sothebys is over here. And does this have any real value, like at all? I don't know, but it's interesting. And we're going to talk about it. So sneaker collection selling for $25 million. Why wouldn't I talk about that? All right, let's get into it. Before we do, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies here in Bellevue, Washington, which was recently ranked more expensive median home prices than Manhattan. Wild times. What is going on? I don't know, but let's jump into this sneaker collection. I've got a couple of brokers, Summit Properties Northwest brokers, who have a background in selling sneakers. That gray market. They run into stores and get these limited edition sneakers and then sell them online. That's a big thing. Every now and then you'll hear about a robbery of some sneakers. There was one here in one of the more famous homeless encampments where they were stealing back a pair of blue sneakers. And I was like, those got to be some sneakers in demand, because I'm not going to take a beat down and have my car, bashed on over some sneakers. But anyway, this sneaker collection sells for a record-breaking $25 million. And this is on CNN Style. We are branching out here. CNN Style. I didn't even know CNN had style, let alone a style reporting. But we're going to go with it because this is a topic that we need to delve into. And the main picture is a pair of sneakers, Louis Vuitton Nike Airs. Now, do we need these in our lives? Apparently we do. I wear a pair of Nike Max something kind of CrossFit shoes because I do a lot of CrossFit kind of stuff in the gym, and they look cool. Let's be honest. They look cool. And at age 53, if you don't have sneakers that make you look cool, what are you even doing? So I actually had one of the trainers walk up and go, "Hey, like your sneakers. Where'd you get those?" And I'm like, "I got them at Dick's Sporting Goods. They were on sale." And he was like, "Oh yeah?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then we walked off. He was an enormous black dude, and I like him a lot. And he's got a big following on TikTok or something. Yeah. So we had that conversation, then we both moved on with our lives. So Sothebys has sold 200 pairs of sneakers designed by the late Virgil Abloh for if I'm butchering that, I'm sorry. my fashion icon knowledge is limited to like Calvin Klein and Calvin Klein. I like Calvin Klein. He was a weirdo, but yeah, he had style. Sotheby's sold 200 pairs of sneakers designed by that guy for a record-breaking collective $25.3 million. How much is that per pair of sneakers? 200 sneakers goes for 25 million. What? The auction house said on Wednesday, more than 8 times the initial $3 million estimate. So do I hear 4 million? Do I hear 5 million? Do I hear $20 million in the back? I hear $22 million sold to the man with the gold cap and the whatever sneakers, $25.3 million for some shoes. Not even dress shoes. Shoes that you walk around in doing life leisure activities, right? Special edition Louis Vuitton and Nike Air Force One sneakers were designed for the Louis Vuitton Spring-Summer 2022. You know, when the fashion week comes out and you're forced to look at all the celebrities and what they were sporting, I kind of like that part. But then again, it's like, I don't really care what they're wearing. I could care less because I'm never going to buy that stuff. The Louis Vuitton bags, I mean, these tiny little bags cost thousands of dollars. These tiny little backpacks that I think make you look like a little kid. Oh, look at my backpack. I know I'm making fun of stuff that you may purchase, you may consume in your life, but it's just not me. It's just not. So you got special Louis Vuitton and Nike Air Force One sneakers going for $25.3 million. All right, let's just say that's a thing. The auction marked the first time the sneakers were released for sale. Oh, okay. Well, there's a premium. Spokesperson told CNN Thursday that as a collection, the sneakers had secured a record auction total for fashion. That is not shocking. 200 pairs of sneakers for $25.3 million. You do the math. Individual pairs of sneakers have, however, commanded a higher price. This includes a pair of Nike Air Ships. All right. Worn by basketball star Michael Jordan, which sold for $1.47 million in October. So what are you going to do with those? I mean, can you imagine like 100 years from now, if we're even here, somebody going, yeah, those were Michael Jordan's dad, great grandfather, whatever. They're in this vault. There was a basketball player named Michael Jordan, one of the old greats. And people are going to be like, no. Well, anyway, they paid $1.47 million way back in the day for those. I mean, it's all based on, today's demand, right? Abloh, who was the artistic director for Louis Vuitton menswear, and did he recently die? I think he might have. And the fashion house's first black artistic director. Yeah, that is true. I think I died in November at the age of 41 after privately battling a rare form of cancer for 2 years. I read a bunch of articles on this and I forgot that it stated this in this one. That's my excuse anyway. So the shoes ranged in size from 5 to 18. 5, that is very small. 18, enormous. I wear size 12. It's on the upper end, but you can usually find it in the shoe store. You can find it at Dick's Sporting Goods. Much bigger than 12, 12 and a half even, you're kind of out of luck. 13, good luck with that. With the size pair 5 securing the highest price at $352,800. Is that because somebody was going to wear them? I don't know. More than 23 times its $15,000 high estimate. Imagine being one of these auctioneers. What do you think these shoes are going to go for? Well, based on my calculated statistics and the comparable sales that I have here in my Sneakers Digest 2021, these should go for approximately 15 grand. And then they go for 352,800. I'm just sounding old. There's no sneakers worth that. I'm sorry. That's not a thing. And yet somebody paid it and somebody was very excited to sell those, right? Sotheby said it received 10,000 bids in total, 40% of which came from Asia. More than 2/3 of the bidders were aged under 40. More than 2/3 of the bidders were aged under 40. Not surprising. You don't see a lot of 45-year-olds. What'd you do today? I bought some sneakers, unless they're collectors. And that's what we're talking about. So each pair was sold with an orange Louis Vuitton carrying case made of Tyrolean leather. I don't even know what that is, nor do I care. And they were reinterpreted from earlier designs in the fashion house archive. Okay, so every now and then I will buy like a one-off shirt from my fashion would be like Lululemon. I go in there and, the cute girl at the front who's wearing Lululemon. She says, hey, we've got this sale going on this most recently released shirt line with some matching joggers. And I'll be like, that's a cool shirt. I'll buy that. Wildly overpriced t-shirt. I've got a few of those in my collection. And it's because it's a cool shirt and I want to walk around. And then I tell my kids and I pretend to be fashion conscious and they make fun of me as, that's just how that goes. So proceeds from the sale will go to the Virgil Abloh Postmodern Scholarship Fund, a charity set up to support the education of promising students of Black, African American, and African descent, the auction house added. Abloh had been involved in early organization of the auction before he died, Sotheby said. So you got these sneakers just going for insane prices, because so many people want them. Sneakers are a big deal. Robberies happen over these. And it's like, okay, over shoes like that you wear on the basketball court and yeah, but don't put them on. Don't put them on. You'll, ruin the price. And then you see these celebrities walking around in these super expensive shoes and you're like, you're getting the bottoms dirty. That's like, it's like taking a card out of its, protective case or taking like a bobblehead, a really expensive bobblehead out of its case and just playing with it and giving it to Junior who's 5 and he's just getting just hammer on the thing. So don't wear the sneakers is kind of what I've heard, but they're shoes. Who doesn't want to wear their $300,000 pair of sneakers to the mall and get like just a $200 pair of sneakers? What happened to shoes costing like $30? What about that? What about $50 being expensive? How about in the 80s when I grew up? If you'd spent $75 on a pair of shoes, that was a crap ton of money. And you know what? They were basically the same as the shoes for $50 with a little different label slapped on them, right? I mean, we knew that, but you wanted to be a cool kid. And so you convinced your parents that you needed this. I had a pair of Adidas. What was it? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wore them. Formerly known as Lou Alcindor before he did his whole thing. I had a pair of those. They were epic. I loved them. They were great. They were high tops. They had something on the sides that indicated that they were the coolest of sneakers to be wearing at that point in time. I think the front of them had like holes in them that identified them as I can't even remember. But I had a pair of those and I had one of the first pairs of the Nike Air Force Ones. Those were really, really uncomfortable. Like uncomfortable to wear on the basketball court. I played basketball in high school. They were wildly uncomfortable and I can still feel like in my ankles, it rubbing against the material because they were so poorly designed. But in fashion, we don't seem to care about that. It's not really about fit. It's not really about the whole, this is a comfortable experience. It's about buying something that's got a limited supply that everybody wants to the point where it gets bid up from 15 grand to 300 something. Insanity. And yet it's really no different than the real estate market, is it? It's really no different than the real estate market. It's just that we can make fun of it easier because at least a house or a piece of land, that's going to be there for a while. Pair of sneakers, I mean, end result, it ends up in great, granddad's, safety box. And is there a market for it down the road? Well, we know that they're not making any more land. They're, 100 years down the road, they're still going to be probably making shoes. That's why we live in a society where we just hover everywhere and you don't really need shoes. You're going to need some kind of sock apparatus on your foot, right? Now we're going to need shoes, right? So is this sneaker from 2022 purchased in this bulk purchase for $25.3 million? Is it still going to have the same value? I don't know. I have no idea, but I'd probably venture a guess and say No, probably not, because the significance at that point in time will be long gone. But in real estate, they're not making any more of it. So it's kind of like, here you go. I talked briefly about the city where I'm recording this from, Bellevue, surpassing Manhattan's median home price. That's a thing. And it's based on scarcity and it's based on demand. And we've got Amazon just, running employees into our city left and right because the city of Seattle, in its infinite wisdom and their ridiculous city council, had this whole, tax Amazon. And Amazon said, well, yeah, you can tax us, but we're going to take our folks over to that place just a few miles away. It's where I'm sitting right now. And so, you've got the same components of supply and demand. You've got no supply of housing. You got huge demand. Apparently, you don't have much supply of these kind of sneakers. I mean, they create this, right? They create this lack of supply. Just like I think the best example of this is the brand Rolex. They only put out about 1 million watches a year, and they have capacity to put out more, and they've got way more demand than that. But if you try and walk in to most jewelers and, hey, I'd like to buy a Rolex. I saw that you had, a Rolex sign out in front. I want to get that model. I want to get the most, current version of the, let's just throw out a model here, the GMT Master 2. Or I want to get the Sub. I want to get the Submariner, or I want to get the Yacht Master. You know what they're going to tell you? Yeah, we don't have any of those in stock, but if I put your name on this really long list, I can get you down and, we can maybe get you one if you look like you're going to spend enough money over the next couple of years. Is your wife here? Does she like jewelry? I might be able to move you up that list a little bit. That's how it literally goes and has gone. And I don't know, since the whole coronavirus thing, what the supply, chain thing has looked like for Rolex, but they kind of create watches in their own little bubble. And that's an example of, artificially created demand because they cinch that supply down and they know it. And so the cost of used goods for a Rolex is way higher than if you can actually get your hands on a watch in the store and buy one new. It's a weird phenomena, but it's controlled. So sneakers, I don't know. How many sneakers are we putting out here? Apparently not a lot. So let's finish this out. Charles F. Stewart, CEO at Sothebys, said in a statement that the record-breaking auction, which saw unparalleled global participation, interesting that so many, not interesting, but it makes sense. So many of them were from Asia. All right. They're into their sneakers, right? They're into their fashion. And it was a testament to Abloh's legacy as one of the most visionary artists and designers of his generation, whose widespread influence and impact is still palpable. As well as being a fashion designer at Louis Vuitton, Abloh founded the label Off-White. He was also a DJ and a former creative director at design agency Donda, which is owned by Kanye West, who is now known as Ye. All right, so I believe Ye, also Kanye West, also soon to be Mr. X Kim Kardashian, if they can ever get their act together and get that divorce on the road while they're not dating other people. And, because Kim's dating Pete Davidson and Kanye's dating a number of young ladies old enough to literally be his daughter. But that's a whole nother thing. But Donda, I believe he just released an album called Donda as well. And that's in reference to his mom, I believe. I don't know. At Louis Vuitton, he was credited with bringing in a younger demographic appeal to the brand and for blurring the lines between high fashion and streetwear. My grandmother, who passed away a couple of years ago, she had some Louis Vuitton suitcases. And I always thought, that is a significant waste of money. And, in my world, I was right. And they were cool suitcases, though. She got looks when she went to the airport. We traveled together a few times. And when she, was younger. And I remember thinking, God, you got a Louis Vuitton suitcase. Even back then, it was a little like, okay, you are fancy. You are Miss Fancy Pants. And so literally Louis Vuitton has gone from, being an older person's brand to, doing some sneakers, doing some mashups, doing some collabs with, all the cool kids in the fashion world. And that's how you end up with sneakers at $25.3 million for a collection now. I mean, 200 of them. All right. So you got 200 in there. What do those look like? How are those boxed up? What's the insurance premium on shipping those? Do they go straight from the Brinks truck to the safe in the bank? I want to know what that looks like. Imagine the guy in the forklift, or I guess their sneakers are not even that heavy, right? He's batching these things up. Are you carrying them individually? Are they in the Nike boxes? I mean, do they have the white, cellophane or whatever it is, film on them that, you wrap around all sneakers, or do they come in something, really, really fancy? I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is just absurd, isn't it? And insurance premium. What are you going to pay? Hey, what do you got in that box? Oh, we got some sneakers. Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, you got armed guards to move this stuff. Yeah. You're not sending them over in a shipping container, are you? I mean, 25 million? Send it off. It'll be okay. Nobody will know they're in that shipping container along with the rice and the apples and the whatever. How does that go? I don't know. Probably private transport with security guards and massive insurance policy from none other than probably Sothebys, right? I don't know. 25.3 million for sneakers. That's a new one, but lots of new things every day. We need to get out there and explore them. So I will be covering these kind of stories because they're interesting. And we get tired of doing real estate because real estate, I get tired of saying, hey, there's no supply and there's more people wanting to buy. Therefore, prices are going up. And that's the deal. I get kind of tired of that. But I mean, it's the truth. But also sneakers, 25.3 million. That's the truth too. That's just a weird truth, isn't it? Okay. Thanks so much for being here today. And love to have you subscribe. Love to have you do that notification bell. So each time we have content coming out, you'll get it. Check out our newest documentary on 𝒔𝒕𝒍𝒆 and the homeless. She goes around picking up garbage with her nonprofit. City of Seattle tells her, no, you're screwing things up. You got to let that garbage stew for longer before we come by and officially pick it up as a city, which they never do. That's a thing. Okay. Thanks again for being here. We'll catch up soon. Talk then. Bye for now.